Connery returns to help Lambert save the world.
There is no substitute for experience.
What experience? You've been dead for 500 years.
To go back to Ramirez, the idea being to combine the kind of eloquence of the Egyptian and the Spanish with the sword fighting and the old codes, almost kind of Japanese sword, a bit of everything, really.
People have a full measure of life, and most people just watch it slowly drip away. But if you can summon it all up at one time, in one place, you can accomplish something glorious.
Perhaps Connery's best-known medieval character is that of King Arthur in 1995's magical romantic adventure, First Knight. Also starring Richard Gere as Lancelot and Julia Ormond as Lady Guinevere, the story tells the tale of the famous love triangle these three formed.
Do you remember this?
Of course. You hurt it on the thorn bush in the hunt. Hadn't thought it would leave such a scar.
Just a scratch. Yet it bled like a war wound.
I remember.
You took my hand in yours and you wiped the blood away with the sleeve of your dress.
The sleeve still carries the stain.
He's in love for the first time, really, at a serious level of the one woman. And the typical irony is, of course, that it's the woman that falls in love with the man that he thinks is so terrific too, Lancelot, who's this starts from being a real kind of wanderer and no directional person to become the epitome of what the knights were about.
Marry the king, Guinevere. But love the man.
We owe Lady Guinevere's life to one man. Lancelot. And I believe he comes to Camelot for a purpose, even though he doesn't know it himself. One seat stands empty.
You'd make him a knight, sir?
What I offer is no life of privilege, but a life of service. And if you want it, it's yours, with all my heart.
Connery completed an outstanding cast in 1987's The Untouchables. This film follows the professional life of Elliot Ness, played by Kevin Costner, who learns the hard way how to deal with police corruption and the mob in Prohibition Chicago. Connery is a seasoned street cop who helps Ness in his persecution of Al Capone, played by Robert De Niro.
It's very, very clearly established at the beginning of the film just what you're dealing with in terms of Capone. Well, the fact is that he owns the town. If you own the town, that's the police, and the aldermen, the city, everybody is in the pocket of Capone. Where do you begin?
You said you wanted to know how to get Capone. Do you really want to get him? You see what I'm saying? What are you prepared to do?
Everything within the law.
And then what are you prepared to do? If you open the ball on these people, Mr. Ness, you must be prepared to go all the way. Because they won't give up the fight until one of you is dead.
I want to get Capone. I don't know how to get him.
You want to get Capone? Here's how you get him. He pulls a knife, you pull a gun. He sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one of his to the morgue. That's the Chicago way. And that's how you get Capone.
you want to do that? Are you ready to do that?
This role won Sean an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor.
It was a marvelous surprise, actually. And I think I said at the time, patience is a virtue.
Connery is on the other side of the law in the picture Family Business. Sean's character is the patriarch of a family of thieves. His son, portrayed by Dustin Hoffman, has left the family business while his grandson, played by Matthew Broderick, wants to become a burglar.
To Danny Doheny.
To hell with him. To McMullins. Now then, lucky lads, let's catch up on a little family business, huh?
Yeah, nothing like a good robbery to bring a family close.
Boys rebel against what they once for. He's not such a bad father. In actual fact, he's rather a good father, Vito.
Where did I stood in to be a Westinghouse scholar, huh?
You spend your life talking Westinghouse scholar.
Now, what's the matter with that?
It's all bullshit. And Adam knows it better than any of us. Now, why do you think he set this whole thing up? Because he can smell the real Vito. That's why.
Smell what?
This Vito. This Vito. That's the real Vito. That's the one he wants respect from.
In the early 1990s, Connery concentrated his efforts on political thrillers. Both The Russia House and The Hunt for Red October addressed the tension between the United States and Russia at the close of the Cold War. Rising Sun explores the differences between the Japanese and American ways of life and business. Connery's character, Marko Ramius, in The Hunt for Red October, is Russia's top Soviet naval captain. When put in charge of an advanced new submarine, he disappears into the North Sea. The action begins when both the Soviet Navy and their American counterparts search for the sub. The reason for Ramius' disappearance is unknown until the conclusion of the film.
I want you and the doctor to witness this. I'm removing the political officer's missile key, and I'm...
Captain, I think we should report this to Red Fleet Command.
I'm afraid that's impossible, Doctor. Our orders are for strict radio silence. Order, sir.
That's all long enough.
Yes, sir. This is most unnerving, Captain. The reason for having two missile keys is so that no one man may
what?
May arm the missiles. Perhaps I should keep the key.
Thank you, that'll be all, Doctor.
Captain,
when I address the crew, then you will understand.
Yes, sir.
In The Russia House, Sean is a British publisher who becomes involved in espionage when a Russian woman, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, sends him a manuscript.
A character who's kind of odd combination, not at all the material you'd expect to have for a spy, really. And yet he is, because he's quite sophisticated, quite well-educated, and a drunk, a jazz musician, and a publisher from a very old, established publishing house.
Are you Mr. Bartholomew Scott Blair?
Oh, for God's sake.
Are you?
Yes.
Are you a publisher?
Yes.
Are you a spy?
No.
Are you alone in this, or were you sent by others?
Sir.
I'm alone.
1993's Rising Sun places Connery in an investigative position as an expert in Japanese culture aiding a cop, played by Wesley Snipes, who is investigating a murder.
He's kind of key to all the things that happen in the movie, really from the beginning to the end. Because he'd lived in Japan, had a good and bad experience there, and is working with the LAPD, and teams up with Wesley Snipes to resolve a murder.
Ishihara-san, I'm sure none of your guests could be involved in this unfortunate incident. They're free to go as they wish.
I am grateful for your assistance.
But before they leave, give me the names of those gentlemen, please.
I'm sorry.
The names of those gentlemen.
May I ask why?
Karuna, Sokadoke, Tete Ike, Bakanai Noka. Richie, mugshots, all of them.
Oh, you cannot do this!
No, you're to blame here. And you will give my detectives any assistance that they need. And I want the name of the person who discovered the body. Here.
But of course, Captain.
With the Presidio a few years earlier, Connery had portrayed a military officer who investigates a crime that implicates top officials on his base. This film also stars Mark Harmon as the San Francisco detective investigating the same crime, and Meg Ryan as Connery's daughter.
There's quite a bit of humor in the film too, and they're under the real subplot is a murder and detective story, and that's the backdrop against